Welcome everyone to the Real Whovians Cast, episode 394. I am your host, Matrix Lord 212. I'm with Brian. What's up, Brian?
Hello.
Connor.
Hello, how is everyone?
Charlie.
Hey, how we doing?
Mike D.
Greetings, fellow Whovians.
And Sam.
Hello.
Okay, so while I was out seeing the movie Let's Be Cops, which was excellent, by the way, I got word, I saw a text from Dr. Freedom that Jenna Louise Coleman is leaving. Christmas is her last episode, which, Mike D., you predicted that before?
Yeah, I think a couple of months ago we were talking about...
And we had was showing pictures of her hugging the doctor like she was leaving or something, but it was a premature thing. She's leaving Christmas time. So, Charlie, read the article. You have the article?
Yeah.
And before you start, I just want to let you guys know, one second, going to be dropping out, guys, very soon. So you guys continue on with the podcast. I know it's out of format, but can't be helped. So just, I'll drop out. You guys continue, and then I'll try to pop back in, okay?
All right.
Okay. So go ahead, guys. See you later.
Sure.
Go ahead, Charlie.
Doctor Who's Jenna Louise Coleman leaves role as Time Lord's assistant. Her exit after 18 months playing Clara Oswald could create a vacancy for another sidekick to star alongside the new Doctor, Peter Capaldi. Let's see here. Jenna Coleman is believed to be quitting her role as the Time Lord's assistant in the sensational Christmas storyline, so not for Christmas.
All right.
That'll be the. Well, we had gotten word through the world tour by Moffat that she was going to be in the Christmas special, definitely, but never said anything about the 9th season. So that kind of puts the damper on the 9th season, I guess.
I think it would make sense because, you know, Peter Capaldi needs to, I mean, as much as I want her to stay, you know, me and Tim were talking about it the other day. I wanted her to stay, right, Tim? Hey, what's up, bro?
What's up?
It would have been really awesome for her to stay, but you know, he'll need his own companion eventually.
So
what if she's his companion though?
But she's leaving.
We don't know that yet.
Who announced that she's leaving?
Some garbage National Enquirer type UK newspaper, which
well, we
really
got the Mirror. It's the Mirror, the article we're looking at.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
It's not really. If you read the article, it's not really that legit. I mean, they could be totally right, but at the end of the day, they say our source says, and then they said they didn't even talk to the BBC. So.
Yeah, they said the BBC refused to comment, which makes me think that it's just speculation at the moment. Nothing more than that. Yeah.
It's a speculative article. But here's the thing. At the end of the day, yeah, she could be leaving after the... But they don't want to talk about it right now because they're just promoting the new season that's going to start next Saturday. So they don't want to talk about that if anybody's leaving. So,
right.
Yeah.
And that's really been the Mirror's MO.
and if you notice, there's been no confirmation. I mean, apparently Dr. Freedom decided that Doctor Who Worldwide, this fan website that just kind of resaid the same thing that this article said, you know, meant, oh, that means it's happening, which it doesn't mean that. It doesn't. We don't know.
Yeah.
No, if it happens, it happens. But you know, it might make sense if she left at this point because they would have decided this going into the season. Like, hey, are you gonna stick around for next season? I need to write you out, like they did with Amy Pond and Rory. So,
yeah.
But it is really a speculative article. We'll have to wait and see. We'll find out after Christmas if she's leaving. I'm pretty sure.
A lot of people are quick to want to jump on breaking the news too. So
exactly. That's all anybody wants to do. Like, I want to be first.
Yeah, everyone wants to be the one with the hot lead. See, tomorrow the world tour will be in Mexico, correct? The night.
Yep.
Yes.
As far as I know, they're still doing a live stream from Mexico. I haven't heard anything to the negative of that.
Yeah, it's still an event on Doctor Who's YouTube page, as far as I'm aware. So,
how many more stops do they have?
They have Mexico and Brazil.
Brazil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then they go back in to film the Christmas episode.
Yeah.
Oh. Maybe Capaldi could pick up like one of those big sombreros and wear it in one of the episodes. You know, that could be like his fez hat, sort of that Smith had, that he kind of, you know.
Yeah.
Ole.
Nah, I don't think Capaldi will have. I don't think Capaldi's doctor will do stuff like that, like how Smith did.
Probably not. It was a joke. Yeah. Well, I guess, like, is that going to be raining on anyone's parade if Clara is leaving at the end of this year?
No.
Well, I wouldn't like her to, but, you know, if that's the way the show has to go, that's the way the show has to go, innit? So.
Yeah.
It's pretty much up to the actress.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we're getting at least we're getting 1 full year between her and Capaldi. So, and there's going to be a lot that's going to go on between now and the Christmas episode, because, I mean, we haven't even really, for all intents and purposes, seen the first episode, even though we've had 1 or 2 leaked. There could be so much going on this season that between now and the end of the season, we could go, oh, well, that makes perfect sense why Clara would be leaving at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good that.
Yeah, Sam.
It's good that she leaves. It's time to go. So.
You think so?
Yeah.
Really? I don't think so.
Her story has been told, so up to the
I don't
next
think so
one.
at all.
Yeah.
No, I mean, you're talking about an actor who was announced in March of 2012. He's been in precisely 12 episodes. and here we are in, late summer of 2014. So, I mean, because of all the gappiness, she really hasn't had much time to shine. I mean, she did really good in the specials last year. But yeah, this is going to be, like I was telling Joe before he fell out, this might be her doctor. Capaldi might be her doctor. Matt Smith was, you know, kind of maybe, and that was when she was Mystery Girl. Now she's like, on the other hand, come Christmas, she might be History Girl. You never know. So
Mystery to history.
Yeah.
Well, what's interesting is this article states her exit was bringing an end to her 18 months as Clara Oswald, and then it's got the quote here: by the time she leaves, she'll be one of the longest
That's
standing
what I mean.
companions.
That article is garbage, dude. It's not even
Longest
well
standing companions. What?
Not even longest companions. Amy and Rose both have 34 episodes under their belt, which is like more than 24. And if you want to talk about classic series, Fraser Hines did it for 3 years. So yeah, she's not one of the longest by any way you want to stretch it. This article is garbage. It is a speculative article that everybody hopped on thinking, oh, here it is, confirmation that she's leaving, when it's not confirmation at all. Now, she may leave at Christmas. It would make sense, you know. They would have decided, you know, early on, like Steve Moffat would have asked her, you know, hey, you think you're going to be around next year? Or do you want to just like, because he wants to plan to write her out like he did with Amy Pond and Rory. So, I mean, in other words, he wants.
I'm sorry, dude. There might be a slight.
No, I'm just saying that they plan these things out. And, of course, they don't want to talk about it now because right now they're just promoting the new season. They don't want to talk about who's leaving, who's staying, or who's going.
Yeah.
And if she is leaving, they will announce it before Christmas. They'll say, okay, yeah, actually, Jenna Louise Coleman is leaving right now, and here's the new girl. Like they did with her back in 2012. I mean, everybody knew that Amy Pond was leaving, or Karen Gillan was leaving, and that they were going to bring in a new girl. And they announced her in March of 2012, and we weren't supposed to see her until December on Christmas. And then, you know, they had the Oswin pop in, but then, you know, there you go.
Right.
Well, the thing with Doctor Who that I'm just going to hazard to guess that they did this on purpose, but the one thing that they've always done very well, they have not really had companions that have outstayed their welcome as far as the fandom's concerned. Because they've done very good jobs at like keeping the right people around for the right amount of time, and even having people leave early when you're not really expecting them to. But it's always better to err on the side of wanting, you know, leave the audience wanting more, you know.
Well, you're talking about the current series, not the classic, though, right? Because in the classic, they did keep people a few rounds longer than they needed to be.
Well, no, even the classic, actually, I'm referring to. Who are we talking about specifically?
What the hell did you keep Turlo around if you're just going to stay in the TARDIS all the time, or stay locked in, you know, underground? I don't hate him, but I'm just saying it was a missed It was a missed opportunity. Same thing, Chameleon. Really?
Well,
okay,
the companions. Well, I mean, in contrast to the new series to old, you got more companions, obviously, in the classic series, but more so in the new series, you have better written secondary characters or companions than you
That's
did.
what I meant. In the new series, I would agree with you. In the old series, no, they did keep a few people.
But I mean, we even have but you have people leaving, like even in the classic series, like even Adric. I mean, it's like, boom, he's dead, and I mean, like Tegan, she leaves under the circumstances she does, and you're like, wow, these aren't all happily ever after endings that these companions.
Yeah, that was the point. But Tegan got her innings in. She was in there for like 3 years. I mean, she's like the third
Tegan was the first to leave and then come back.
Yeah.
Yeah, Time Flight, that whole thing. Yeah. But I mean, you got people that die. Like, I guess, you've got several of those. Some of the earlier ones, like Sarah Kingdom, some of those companions that died. But you have companions. I mean, look at Sarah Jane. She was like probably the classic series like fan favorite companion, and Tom Baker's just like, oh, okay, well, I gotta go to Gallifrey, bye. And it's just like, wow, it just dropped off. There's no resolution to that. Until later on, of course, with David Tennant's Doctor, you've got some resolution, but it's kind of it's in a way like when you're watching it, you're like, wow, like they're gone, and then but you can kind of look back and go, well, you know what? At least they didn't like just beleaguer this on and on and on and on with these characters. That even though we like Clara and Jenna Louise Coleman, maybe the resolution to her character's story arc is done, and she has to go to bring on somebody new.
Well, that was my point, though. She's barely been in it. I mean, she's been in 12 episodes after 2 years. So, I mean, that's because of setbacks and gaps and whatnot.
Yeah.
Whereas on the other hand, I would have been happy if they'd written out, the pawns at the end of season 6, like they kind of did, and they brought him back for another half season, and then kind of like gave him a final ending, which was cool. I like that. I like that they did that. But I mean, at the end of the day, it was when you were in the first half of season 7, you're just kind of like, just bring on a new girl already. Enough the pawns. They've been done. I mean, they've been done to death. So, and I don't mean that in a derogatory manner, because I like the pawns. But I mean, you know what? It was time for something different. Right. I guess that's what you're saying, Mike, is it's time for something different with Clara, But
well, possibly. I mean, maybe so. I mean, it's in the writing. I mean, I like Clara. I like Jenna Louise Coleman. If they've got more in store for her character that warrants keeping her character around for moving the overall story and mythology of the series ahead, then that's great. I'm all a fan for that. But I just don't want to see somebody kind of just lingering around and then they just,
Do you think there's too much of the door? Do you think there's too much of the door left open for these people to return in the new series?
No.
Aside from with the classic series.
No, I mean
would you say that?
I don't think they're going to bring anybody from the Davies time, and Amy and Rory are effectively written out for good. So I mean, the only person that is possible is maybe.
But I mean, that's what I mean. I mean, the new Who, it seems like they always have a spot where, we can bring this one back, or we can bring this one back, or we can put Rose here, Whereas the classic series, we never got a returning companion. We never had that, unless it was the anniversary special.
Oh, and Charlie may be onto something, because part of the pathos of the original series, the classic series, was, besides Tegan that we were talking about earlier, a lot of these companions, when they were around and gone, they were just gone, excluding Unit, those sorts of people. Yeah, that's what kind of gave the show the correct words, pathos, where you would have this sort of lingering sadness where the Doctor, and it actually gave a lot to his character, because you have to understand, that this character, he cannot form long-lasting relationships, and these people are basically they come and float into his life and they're gone.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's when they started paying attention to it in the 70s, because in the 60s they were really pretty brutal about just getting rid of people without even giving them an effective write-out.
Get out of the TARDIS.
Well, you'd be talking about Dodo, who just got written out halfway through her last episode, and then Polly and Ben, who got written out halfway through their episode, or they disappear halfway through their 6-part serial, and have a pre-filmed insert that shows up at the end of the episode. Just say, "Hey, bye, Doctor. It's the same day we left, so hey, see you. See you." So, yeah,
Well,
I mean, at least
think of,
by the '70s, they realized the importance of the companion, and they started like giving them effective write-outs, like the really good
Joe.
one when Joe
Joe
leaves,
Grant,
when Joe leaves, and the Doctor's like driving away crying because he lost his best friend, and he didn't see that coming at all. He didn't see that coming at all,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was a powerful episode.
Very powerful. For 70s TV, yeah, very powerful. And then later on with Sarah Jane, I mean, when she left, I mean, that's one of the best endings ever. Even though, yeah, he is just pretty much ceremoniously dumping her. He's like, hey, by the way, South Court? No, this is Aberdeen. See you when I see you. but,
she looks so sad holding her potted plant, looking like, where are you going?
Yeah.
I mean, it was worse with the other ones, like Perry. We never really got it.
Oh, yeah.
We never even got a beginning for, was it Melanie? No, Mel's, right? Yeah, Mel.
Yeah, Mel just kind of got dropped into the show.
Yeah.
You know, they were having an adventure with Six, but then they just kind of throw her into him. You know, so she's kind of just like she already had these adventures with him, and then she's coming back to have other adventures. I don't know.
I guess.
You know,
we never see
him pick her up.
Well, I think I agree with them being good at the not making the companions outstay the welcome, and bringing them back. I mean, they could easily bring Martha back.
Yes, they can.
Yeah.
Well, they could even bring back, like, if I may step in real quick, I was thinking about, from the classic series, we never really had a resolution, at least in the TV episodes, maybe in the books, to Ace, her character.
She would fit good with Capaldi, I think.
Well, that's why I said, like, a Fenric episode would be great if they kind of did, like, something with that again. You know, go back to, like, the Fenric thing and Paraveil, and then, you know, he runs into... You could do, like, a two-parter with that and then have a resolution with Ace.
That sounds, like, really cool on paper, but, I mean, at the end of the day, that actress is pretty old, and she's had such a long career in the audios now at this point, 15 years, and at Big Finish, that it's more about that than it is trying to, resurrect her character. Yeah, trying to resurrect the Ace character for television at this point would just be...
Well, they did that with Sarah Jane, though. They brought her back.
They almost brought back Ace with Sarah Jane. They were very close.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I think Ace could warrant coming back for, like, a part of something.
I don't know.
Well, I just think that's kind of fan-winky, though. I mean, the modern audience wouldn't get it.
They would understand. They don't know who she is.
Who's this old lady that's trying to pretend like she's 16, Like, I mean...
Yeah, but you could have said that about Sarah Jane, too.
Yeah, that was the point I made earlier, one of the earlier podcasts.
No, the point with Sarah Jane was her time had passed and she had gotten older. Remember in the episode, she's like, yeah, I got old.
Yeah, but see, that could be part of the Sophie Aldred. The same thing with Sophie Aldred as Ace, though. They could write it into the script because, see, the thing is, I agree with what you're saying, Tim, about the fan wank sort of stuff, but also it's on the backs of the writers because if we believe the Doctor has... some sort of feelings with the story of what's going on with this character, then
this Doctor doesn't.
Yeah, but that could be. But hold on a minute. But wait. That's poor writing though, because see, even though this Doctor.
Not poor writing.
Let me finish my thought. You don't know what I'm about to say. I'm about to say, Peter Capaldi's Doctor could be a certain way, but the thing is, like, there are certain things that add nuances to the layers of what kind of character his Doctor is. Maybe I'm not saying he's going to go cry over Sophie Aldred, but what I'm saying is, like, even Sylvester McCoy had multi-layered parts of his personality. I'm not saying, like, when I'm talking about emotion, I'm not talking about the emotion of, like, sadness and that. I'm talking about like, just seeing, like David Tennant, for example. He was acting quirky. He'd be bouncing all over the place, but he also could be very stern and very serious.
But a key feature of the Doctor is always looking forward. He doesn't look backward. He always goes forward. Peter Capaldi is a Scottish bastard, and that's all he's going to do. He's not going to be interested in say, hey, let's dial up Ace and see what she's doing. Sorry, Joe. You get my point.
Yeah, but that's not what
I don't care what I was doing 20 years ago.
That's not what my claim was, though. I'm saying you can incorporate into the storyline, like running into this person.
Yeah, of course.
Like Tim, what I'm saying is you could be looking forward, I could be looking forward all we want to, but like I'm saying the story could be happenstance. It could be like, what if I threw you into like your old high school girlfriend's life again after like 15 years you haven't seen her. There's going to be some unresolved things there between the two of you, for better or for worse. That's drama. That's good storyline. Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm talking about. I'm not saying like.
No, I get your point. As a one-off, maybe If Sophie Aldred returned for a one-off, but But in other words, Doctor Who's always about looking forward.
Yeah, I'm not saying like, I miss you so much, Ace. How you been doing? Blah blah blah. It could be they could be like tackling something like they did with Sarah Jane, but just in a different way. Like so they could be talking about the resolution about the whole thing about Ace feeling bad that she had to lose faith in the Doctor in that Sylvester McCoy episode, and there's good drama there to write about.
What do you think?
Otherwise, you have a one-dimensional character all the time.
What does everyone else have to say, Charlie?
Would you try to put Ace into like a Sarah Jane adventure type of format? And could you?
Well, they tried that with Jo Grant, didn't they? They put her in Sarah Jane Adventures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was a one-off appearance.
They mentioned Ace. They did mention Ace on Sarah Jane Adventures.
Yeah, and like Mike said, she might have been supposed to appear in one actually, I think, but ended up being something to do with schedules or something.
Yeah. Well, they also said that about Tom Baker too. Tom Baker was supposed to make an appearance on the Sarah Jane Adventures.
Well, I know. I think Nicholas Courtney replaced Sophie Aldred in the one so that ended up being his last appearance as the Brigadier because he died shortly afterward. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
What about Ian? Because
that might have been pre-imaginment. I might have that totally backwards because Martha was supposed to appear on there too. And that would have made her the only actor to have appeared on all three of our Russell T Davies series because she was in Torchwood and Doctor Who. So I think I got that wrong.
Brian, what do you have to say?
I don't know. I just popped back in because I was out for a second.
All right. Okay, continue. Connor?
What about Ian Chesterton? Because he's governor of Coal Hill School now, and the actor's still alive, so...
We may see that this year. You never know. I mean, it might be a cameo. It'll probably be just a slight cameo, like he had in An Adventure in Space and Time. That was brilliant. Yeah. He shows up as a kind of a parking director.
Yeah, the attendant there. Yeah, that was great. Unfortunately, that's something they could have done for the 50th.
Yeah, they might have done that. They had a lot of other cameos. Annika Wills and Jean Marsh show up in that little crowd scene whenever Verity Lambert's leaving the job. Right. Remember, they're there clapping and stuff. And that's kind of cool.
Going away party. Yeah.
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 So there's no truth to the Clara rumor yet, right? It's just speculation.
Yeah, speculation.
Yeah.
That article is very speculative. Yeah.
The main point to make is that the article comes from the Mirror. No offense to the Mirror, but they're not exactly the New York Times.
They're like the British equivalent of the National Enquirer, I guess.
Yeah.
Which once in a blue moon gets things right, but
well,
I would say wait until it's confirmed by a real news source,
right?
Because a lot of our other friends, they were jumping to conclusions and saying that because it was said on Doctor Who Worldwide,
right?
that means it's true, which is actually another fan site of the equivalent of Doctor Who TV UK. So I mean, who knows? Those are just fans. So they're just repeating what they've heard.
Well, we're gonna talk more about this probably tomorrow night.
Tomorrow we may have some confirmation one way or the other.
Yeah. All right, gang. I'm gonna cut this short. Thank you guys for appearing. I have to edit 40 videos that I uploaded today. So yeah, it's wild. It's very good. And then I'm going to bed. So, all right, guys. Good night. Take care. Bye for now.